I think so. Leticia will start the talk, and then I'll take from her.
Yeah, this is a double act. This is our project. So just talking about the origin of our projects, and then I leave the difficult questions and technical description to Ravi. So this project originates. Ravi, next slide. So we're both from the CTM at the University of Cambridge. This starts from the basic problem that most people that deal with new technologies in companies have. They have to take decision about investing in a new technology that is emerging. And so that's a difficult one, particularly if it's a large infrastructure and potentially quite expensive and life-changing, such as Internet of Things. So they wonder, where is the value of this technology? I'm investing a lot of effort and time. Will it have a payoff? And Ravi, if you can go with the animation. It's very hard when somebody drives your presentation. So this is kind of a tension that everybody in company managers have, particularly for emerging technologies. So they need to take decision, try to weigh over the value of the opportunities against any potential risk. And this project taps into this first, the opportunities. So Ravi, 2 clicks. The opportunities we go forward, and basically takes the perspective of one of the opportunities that the Internet of Things proposes to manufacturers. So this is a slide I often show during my lectures about how, you know, if you plot products on a variety versus volume chart, you might get a shape like this hyperbole is here, where you have that on one side you have products with typically high variety, so every single item is produced and is different, but obviously to afford a manufacturing of the sort, the volume is normally very low. And instead, on the other side, you might get that some item is produced in large quantities, but the variety is very, very little. So what mass customization allows people to do, and Internet of Things could allow companies to improve, is this one, Ravi, click. So it's taking any of these products and actually shift this curve a bit up in the center. So it's allowing to increase the variability, the variety of items that are produced in large volumes. And so making every consumer happy and having their own item, like for example, shoes. And we had in the market already some examples. So this is a Danish company, Echo, that has a demonstration in a store in Amsterdam, where you can walk in and walk on an Internet of Things enhanced tapirulan or treadmill, and get your needs as a walker or a runner embedded in a design for an insole of a shoe. And obviously this is a type of infrastructure that is very ad hoc. So the consumer is interacting with an Internet of Things device, and the manufacturing happens in the store. But this could be taken to extremes. And if everybody could buy a shoe with some sort of sensors and things embedded in the shoe, it would be possible to have the information driving a manufacturing plant remotely that could deliver the specialized type of shoe. However, mass customization is also obtained in another way. And this is another example still about shoes, where is the consumer that gets involved in the designing of a particular item. So Nike has been famous for this platform they launched, where the value of this is actually embodied in the logo. If you can see the first slide, the first picture on the left, here you say designed by you. Designing is considered to be a value for the user. And so if we are thinking about creating an infrastructure that is all automatic and drives mass customization via an Internet of Things device, we might risk that value, that designed by you, click, is going away. So we asked Ravi and I ourselves, which products should we actually promote as an Internet of Things driven mass customization, and which one should we have as a traditional manufacturing thing? So we are trying, next slide, to create a tool, and I will leave Ravi describing how are we doing this in a moment, that helps us understanding in which conditions the IoT driven mass customization is a better option than the traditional human-driven mass customization.
Thank you very much, Leticia, and sorry for these wrong clicks because sometimes I try with mouse and sometimes with this keyboard. Both doesn't work sometimes. Yeah. So thank you. And as Leticia mentioned, the importance of IoT for mass customization had been stabilized and recognized very well. But the suitability of different products for this customization strategy is still poorly understood. So to address this need, our project developed a theoretical value model, which will take the form of a tool to help manufacturers determine what type of product could be more suitable for this IoT-driven customization versus those where we would need human intelligence to drive the customization. Now, since the implementation of IoT infrastructure in the mass customization would require extra investment, so the tool will indicate when building and deploying an IoT infrastructure would be most appropriate. So, given the timeline and the available time, I will briefly summarize how we approach the development of the model. So I'll not go in details, but to give an overview, I'll talk about different steps we have taken to develop this model. So in the first step, to systematically investigate the suitability of different products and to avoid the need of considering all the products individually, we classified product into different groups and named them as the product archetypes. So individual product in each archetypes can be representative of a number of products perceived in a similar way, and eventually shortcoming the effort of taking the decisions on a product by product basis. So we have done that with the help of online questionnaire and our workshops with our industrial partner during the STEM event, followed by a clustering analysis of those feedback. Now, the model we developed is based on the value propositions provided by these two different customization strategies. So in the case of human-driven mass customization, the value, customer find value in the co-creation process, whereas in the IoT-driven mass customization, so there's a possibility that customer find value in the use of the product rather than its conception and the development. So following this insight, So construct in the step 2, construct evaluating customer perceived value in products were identified. As I mentioned earlier, these constructs form the basis for the theoretical approach to appreciate the different element of value in customization. Now, followed by this analysis, we shortlisted one construct where value is calculated as a trade-off between customer perceived benefit and customer perceived sacrifices. So in the step 3, we developed our theoretical value model, which describes how and when for equally appreciated customized product, customer would favor an IoT-driven mass customization offer over a human-driven mass customization offer. So this, in the future, we will use this model to design and conduct an empirical study to associate different products from our archetypes with the different patterns. So the output of this experiment will be our final tool. So currently for this project, we have developed this theoretical value model. So in the following slide, I'll briefly talk about more technicality of the model. So if you look at the value notion, so one of the most common classification of value is the research in research and practice is hedonic value and utilitarian value. And if you look at the product lifecycle design development, so there are two phases. One is co-creation and one is in use. So if I want to sum all the benefits during human-driven mass customization, so those benefits will include the benefit during co-creation and also benefit during in use. However, in IoT, we will only have the benefits during in use because in co-creation for IoT, a user won't require to be there to customize the product. So, and also at the same time, so many study argues that the customer value reduction and sacrifice more than increment in benefit. So, and one of the key element for sacrifice in customization is the time taken to customize the product. So, following this insight, we put benefits and sacrifices as a function of time. So you can see in the right hand side the table it summarizes perceived benefit and perceived sacrifices for the customer. If you just notice in the right-hand side in the second row, during the IoT-driven mass customization, sacrifice in terms of time spent is almost zero because consumer don't have to spend time and IoT can produce the customized product for you. Now, just to give you an idea of the value models, so the top end corner, the value model calculates benefit and sacrifices. The B stands for benefit and S for sacrifices. So this picture demonstrates one particular case when benefit varies linearly and sacrifice varies exponentially. So once we have these perceived benefit and perceived sacrifice for a product and customization combination, the model calculates the difference between these B and S to have the customer perceived value. Now, based on that output, we get different patterns of customer perceived value, and these output can give us insight on how whether we will go for IoT-driven mass customization or human-driven customization. So we analyze these different potential situations and came across three different situations. Now, in the first situations where the customer perceived value either remains negative or decreases, then this situations we found that this situation would be suitable for those products who demonstrate who would be. So the product which demonstrate this situation would be suitable for IoT-driven mass customization. And in another situations, sorry, I think the speaker, the video bar is creating problem. So in another situation, when we have either customer perceived value remains positive or increases with the time spent for the customization, so that situation would be suitable for human-driven mass customization. And then we have third situation where we would need more details because here there is a transition from positive value to negative value. We would need more data to take a decision on whether we should go with the IoT or human intelligence driven. So just to expand more on this situation number two, if I take an example of three products, let's say product A, B, and C. So although all these products illustrate different sort of customer perceived value behavior, but if you look at the product A, which is the continuous line, and if product B, which is in the left-hand corner, so although the maximum value is the same for both these products, but for the product B, this value only will be there just for some time, just for a very minimal amount of time. So based on this, we can suggest that the product B would be more suitable for IoT-driven customization than product A. Similarly, for product C, although there will be a value for the long time, but the amount of value will be very low. So again, the product C would be more suitable for IoT-driven mass customization than product A. So, so this was the value model, developed value model. So currently, in future studies, our model will be used as a basis for designing experiment aimed to measure customer perceived value from different product and customization option combination. So we will match one product each archetype with our theoretical pattern to see that which product are suitable with what customization strategies. So the final output of this experiment will be the tool to check the suitability of products. And for the development of this final tool, we will consult or take help from our industrial partner and also from the STEM workshops and various network companies. So just to give you an idea that what and how the final tool will look like. So you can see this flowchart there. So once we have our product fit into the product archetypes, we will go to check with these three different situations. So if our product, which comes from a particular archetypes, demonstrate the situation one, we can suggest that this would be more suitable for human-driven customization. In situation 2, we can say that we would need more data to tell you that whether this is suitable for IoT-driven or human intelligence-driven. And situation 3 will be like whether we can clearly say that this is somewhere where we can certainly implement IoT-driven mass customization and associated infrastructure. So yeah, this was all. If you have a question, thank you very much. Still can see, yeah.
Thank you very much, Ravi.
I hope it was clear. Sorry for the disturbance because I don't know what is happening. Sometimes I see the video on the screen and sometimes.
Oh, it was all right. So I think you have a few questions. One from, sorry, I'm having trouble reading. From Boyang, which manufacturing system is the best option to work with IoT and support mass customization? Any comments on IoT-assisted flexible manufacturing systems or reconfigurable manufacturing systems? Boyang, chip in if you want to clarify those questions or have any comments.
Yeah, so thank you very much for Boyang. So I'm just having have a look at your question. So if you know about mass customization, so there are different manufacturing system, different companies adopt different, for example, few of them adopt this product platform and product family configuration system. And so in which they employ this flexible manufacturing and reconfigurable manufacturing system. So I think once we have this IoT mass customization in place, we can adopt existing one. So the only change this approach will do is we won't need direct interaction with the end user. So IoT can generate those data for us, and then eventually we can use the existing platforms to manufacture our product.
In reality, if I can add to Ravi's, we are not detailed about the IoT part. It's a black box. It's something that can do something for us like magic. It gets all the data, and together with the artificial intelligence and the analytical part, will be capable of giving us the design. Our concern is all the investment required would be appreciated by the user. So everybody speaks highly about these options of customizing things, and we are trying to unpack how customers would actually react when they have this option. Is it something really they will be happy to part money with?
Yeah.
To obtain.
Yeah. So I can see one more question from Aidan. Are you able to explain once again how the cost-driven evaluation is combined with customer satisfaction evaluation? Thank you very much for your question, Adam. So for this study, sorry, I forgot to mention or I did not include given the time frame. So we have just include the time element as a sacrifice. So when you look at the customer perceived sacrifice, we have data sacrifice and also the cost sacrifice. So for this current study, we have just used time element to model our the value model. But it's a good point.
Yes, it's a complicated one, isn't it, Ravi? Again, so the principle is that there are 2 points of value in the case when the design is given by the people. People spend time in front of the computer to actually create a new design, and that part of the experience is a value that they receive. So there is a hedonic benefit there. Plus there is the value they receive when they use the object that is customized. So there is a value in use. So for the kind of human-driven customization, you have 2 variety of value, while for the Internet of Things driven mass customization, you only have the one about the object. So you are enjoying the fact that you have a customized object that is yours, but the participation is not something that you experience and hence is not valuable. So that's the first part of the model. And then we are trying to actually unpack what value means. So if you think about time, when people are spending time in front of a computer and they're having fun, you can see it's a pleasure. So that's where the value is. Time is equal pleasure. But at some point, that time is actually a waste for them. It becomes too much. It's a sacrifice, as Ravi says. And so the model that Ravi has shown tries to figure out the different patterns. What if the sacrifice is overwhelming compared to the benefit or the pleasure? And so working on the co-creation part, so the Nike example, is trying to find out whether for other products, what's the pattern, product by product, of this kind of trade-off. That time invested, is it more considered a benefit or a sacrifice for this product or for this other product?
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think we have a follow-up question on this. Could I customize the shoes that get automatically recommended to me by having a variable that demonstrate I have decided to run more? I think answer would be yes. So there are a few attempts in industry. For example, the one example which Leticia took, Echo. So they are trying to capture the data from existing shoes with the help of the wearable devices, and then they are using those data to customize the next generation shoes for the customer, which would eventually fit better or give more performance or these all other customer satisfaction indexes. Thank you.
I think it's meant to be the future, they say.
So another follow-up on this, I could change my behavior to get the product I desire. That's very interesting point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in many cases, so eventually the idea is so IoT wouldn't make a user interfere with this mass customized system. So in some cases, yeah, of course, if you change your behavior and eventually which would change the amount of data or kind of data is your variable are generating. So that will eventually have the influence on the customized product. But yeah, so we are looking at the overall picture of this IoT-driven customization, I guess.
I think it is actually the ambition. And as now, for example, Google suggests you the route, the best route, depending on the data that they receive momentarily. So if you have an artificial intelligence algorithm that is good enough, that's the ambition, is to try and suggest to you, for example, if it's not a shoe and if it's a chair, it tells you that you're not sitting well back, and or the shoe is running, so is kind of wearing out on one side, and it's already time to change it. If you are cleverer than the artificial intelligence, then you sort of can guide it. But I suppose the idea is that something that is perfect for you without any effort will be given to you. I think this is what the value proposition seems to be. I don't know. Yeah. You might say.
I think you're right, Lucia. Thank you. So I think we have one question earlier, which Alexandra just put. Thank you very much, Alexandra. So wouldn't mass customization completely change the type of curve as opposed to just lifting it up? I think this question is regarding the first slide. This one.
Yeah, actually that curve has been studied, I think, Max, by Dominic. There was a student by Tim, and he
right, yes.
Yeah, so they say that actually the whole curves goes up. So and in particular the shoes example would be.
But that's strange, because you know that they are saying then that the underlying principle doesn't change, that you know, there's still a connection between volume and variety despite having much more mass customization. And looking at, especially in the first label, such as custom furniture, custom designer clothes, as Aiden touched upon.
Right. No. Probably the position of the individual products would change, but the sort of shape stays the same. So the plot of items that are in higher variety, lower volume, in overall will stay the same. The individual products will move. You're right. Sorry, it's you're totally correct.
Thank you. Yeah, yes, that's a bit different. Yeah.
Well caught. Thank you.
And maybe, I mean, related to this slide, there is probably also a difference between B2B and B2C in the sense that if you look at one of the early examples of mass customization is the self-publishing industry, where authors were able to have small editions published. But that's a very different type of mass customization as compared to, say, the shoe example that you just gave, because that is now just going into the mass market itself.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I get. I think you have a point. So although the shape of the curve stays the same and shifts, the individual products will be positioned in a different way. And I use this one because it had the shoe that was for the, so and I haven't thought about it sufficiently to, but the idea is that shoe would actually shift up in this diagram. So, but well caught.
Thanks.
Thank you,
everybody. I think this is it's wonderful that we are generating